For more on what this means for the U.S. and Cuba, I'm now joined from San Francisco by Arturo Lopez-Levy via Skype. He is the co-author of Raul Castro and the New Cuba, a close-up view of change. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a great pleasure to be with you.
First, I'd like to get your reaction. You have said in the past that it was a sign that the U.S. president recently praised Cuba's contribution to the Ebola crisis. Both presidents of both countries shook hands last year at Nelson Mandela's funeral, and just today, Raul Castro said that the U.S. president deserves respect. So what do you make of all this?
I think that President Obama has crossed a historical landmark in U.S. policy towards Cuba, beginning to align American actions with U.S. values and international law. The road ahead would not be easy, but a correct perception is key to U.S.-Cuba ties. For Cuba, this is an opportunity to speed up the processes of economic reform, political liberalization, and openness. It also opened doors to increase the cooperation with the United States in Africa, in anti-narcotic interdiction, in cooperation against international crime, and other areas. For the United States, having a correct understanding of Cuba, and this is basically what the president has moved to. Cuba is more a country in change, a country in transition, rather than a threat to U.S. interests. A good perception, a good understanding of what Cuba is key to ensure that mistaken images do not derail American strategies towards Latin America in the 21st century. Let's remember that this step is taken by the administration just some months before the Summit of the Americas.
Arturo,
the president, yes.
What do you make of some of the detractors, some of the criticism that is coming out about this decision? Some politicians here in the U.S. are calling this a major misstep for the Obama administration, weak foreign policy, and that the U.S. lost in this. What do you say to them?
Well, first, the president has been very proactive, promoting American national strategic interests. And it's clear that the whole international community was opposed to the U.S. policy towards Cuba. America was paying a very heavy price for having a policy towards Cuba that is not supported by anybody. Senator Rubio is, as I said, is a senator. America has a president at a time, and the last time I checked, the president in the White House is Barack Obama, and he has a lot of powers, a lot of prerogatives to implement some of these changes. There might be some resistance in Congress, but the president here is the most relevant authority.
Looking ahead to the Summit of the Americas, which is set to take place in Panama later this April, what do you think will happen there with the U.S. and Cuba? What do you think could come out of it?
I think it will be great that for the first time, a president of Cuba and a president of the United States will be together in this room, and President Obama has done something significant to avoid the distraction that for many years in the hemispheric agenda was American policy towards Cuba. This is a strategic step that will have historical consequences, and we might have a very productive Summit of the Americas, redefining hemispheric multilateralism after many years of paralysis in the OAS and many other instances of inter-American dialogue.
So is this good for the Americas? What is Latin America's reaction? Is there anyone who is not welcoming this move?
Well, I don't know anybody in Latin America that will not welcome this step. There might be someone, but let me tell you something. Most editorials from the different newspapers in the region, from El Mercurio, that is the right-wing newspaper in Chile, to the most leftists in Mexico, like La Jornada, all of them are coming out supporting this step. They are, in Latin America, there has been a consensus that a good relation with Cuba, a different approach. That doesn't mean that the United States has to agree with the Cuban political system. The Cuban political system has contradiction with the inter-American system in general. It's a one-party regime. It's still essentially a command economy with some market islands, but in reality, the majority of the Latin American countries and the Latin American population see this as crossing an important test case about American approach to the region, and I think it will be welcome from the Rio Grande to La Patagonia.
All right, Arturo Lopez-Levy, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us on the show.